Good evening and welcome to the second of two Beyond the Front Page shows for the spring 2020 semester here at KU Community College. And these are shows that are broadcast on Spectrum, Verizon Fios, the Auburn Regional Media Access, better known as ARMA, as well as WIN 89.1, the college's radio station. I'm your host, Guy Cosentino. We will give you an update of where we are with future shows at the end of the show, so you need to stick around. But last fall, we had one of our guests on to talk about Nick's Ride for Friends that was founded after the death of his son in December of 2015. A grassroots, not-for-profit organization that is dedicated to preventing heroin and opioid addiction and helping those who are battling addiction. We are delighted to have Joel Campanella, the executive director of Nick's Ride for Friends, and treasurer Mary Beth Leeson to give us an update, not only on what is going on with the Friends, but to talk about their progress in finding a permanent home assisted by the $940,000 Downtown Revitalization Grant, better known as DRI, from the state of New York as part of the Downtown Project, and their upcoming fundraiser that is still on as of right now for March 20th, and we'll talk about that as well. So, welcome.
Well, thank you, Guy.
Glad to have you back here. So for those who may not have tuned in back in the fall, in November, just real quickly, what is Nick's Ride for Friends?
Nick's Ride is a non-for-profit organization that is designed to help people get reintegrated back into the community and to help them continue their fight with the disease of addiction. And we will help them. We now have an implemented peer system at Auburn Community Hospital. We have one at the jail. We work with APD and the crisis intervention team. And we have peers that will go out on call, whether it's a mental health call or a substance use call. If someone overdoses, we'll go out, we'll be with the family, we'll explain what they're going through. We'll just try to give them knowledge to what their son or daughter or husband or wife is going through, and then we help them navigate now through the whole process from detox through rehabilitation, and then we get them back in the community, and we have services that help reintegrate them into society. You know, the hand is there, but sometimes it's not always to pull them up. It's to keep them away because we still have the stigma, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help these people get back with a productive life.
So just as some general points, you are still located, your operations are still next to the Shine Theater.
Yes.
That is your club at this point?
That is the Mecca.
That is, and so you're still operating there. What are your hours?
We open up at 9 o'clock and whenever you're done needing us.
Okay. And so any idea how many people walk through your doors in
a given month? 1,000.
Okay.
Just for example, 11,606 came through, I think, in 18, and the 19 number that they are confirming right now did not drop below that. I'm not sure how high it went yet.
So when we had you on with the sheriff a couple of months ago, we were talking about rates, and has there been a drop-off in overdoses?
Yes, and I'm honored and very proud to say, and I want to start by saying it comes from all the stakeholders at the community, from Sean Butler, Brian's gang, to everybody. We meet at the table a couple times a month, and we discuss what's going on in our community. And in 2018, and I'm proud to say this, I'm not proud to say that 29 of our sons and daughters died. And there's a very good chance that my organization knew every one of those faces. But in 2019, after we keep ramping it up and putting more, and our good friend Ray Bazzari helping us with more funding to help us combat this pandemic that we have. Last year, 20 phones did not ring hearing their sons or daughters died.
So
we had 9 people.
And so we're roughly halfway through the first quarter, a little bit over the halfway part of the first quarter. What are overdoses at this stage?
2.
Okay.
2.
So
well, now 2 that have passed, but there has been several more overdoses. But due to the fact that we have Narcan available, you know, that's a double-edged sword, so we're not getting the true count, but there has
But somebody
been-
is keeping a record of the Narcan.
that when it does get turned in and the paperwork gets filed, and you know, we stay on how much we use, it gets documented how many come through Nick's Ride.
And are all law enforcement in Cuyahoga County using Narcan? Or-
That is my thought, my opinion. I believe
asked
so.
So I asked this question. I don't want to get too far afield because we want to tout your fundraiser, but I was surprised. I was watching John Oliver this week. It's an HBO, but it's a news parody, but there's news in there. And I was surprised of an interview they did with a sheriff out in the Midwest that won't allow his deputies to use Narcan. His theory is those people don't deserve it.
Well, that's
I'm
arrogant
I'm
and
paraphrasing.
ignorant, if that's okay to say, and I hope he's watching. And
We'll send him the video.
yeah, please do, and give him my website and address. But no, science has proven that this is a disease. I mean, if your dopamine's not working and all your receptors in your brain are not firing, yes, he may have made that conscious decision. But if that same gentleman said that, and he wouldn't say that if he was wired that way, because I'm sure when he was in college or wherever he was, and he tried his first fun, okay, whatever that was, and I don't know anybody that can't tell you that college story, right? So a lot of them were wired that way, so the dopamine started messing up, the receptors started. You know, they started early, so their brain kind of stopped growing at that age. Because the human brain, the male brain, they say 24 to 25 is fully developed. The female, 20, 21. I'm not sure why that is.
Oh, they've
But
always been more mature.
Yeah, I know. Hey, behind
And
every
she's not,
good,
and you're not
behind
disagreeing at
every
all.
good
on
man
that.
stands a better woman, and here's, you know, but.
So a little bit more about, I was
Yeah.
curious because oddly I was watching that and knowing that you were coming on, I thought, well, that's a good question for you because who in their right mind wouldn't want to help somebody, especially if they're in law enforcement or something like that.
Absolutely.
So again, for those who may not know, Nick was your son.
Correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about him?
He was a wrestler, and he, from Pee-wees right on up to high school with John Albarese and Andy Corbett. I mean, they were his mentors, and he was the captain of the wrestling team for.
And he got injured.
Yep, and then he got put on prescribed opiates, painkillers.
And how old was he at the time?
15. It was ninth grade, and yeah, he was 15, and he. You could see it progress into an addiction, and I too, I suffer myself, and I'm in long-term recovery now, and that's how I know, I have to live, Guy, with the fact that, yes, maybe I did pass it down to my child.
So one of the things, well, you're a great spokesman for this, and there's no question about that, but, we talked about this back in November. There are some people who deal with horrific pain and hide under the rock. You and your wife and your family decided to go the opposite way. So you created this with your wife, Fury. What led you to found Nick's Ride for Friends?
I seen the need. I seen what was missing, and my son at his worst, and anybody that's watching me, and I don't mean this negative, but I am really surprised in the demographic that watches your program. You should be honored. I mean, all walks
they should
of
be. They're
whoever, but yes, I was very impressed with the people that came up, and they even said, due to your questions, we reached them. People came in from you having us on here and spoke to me about our services, and so I have to thank you for that.
Well, that's why we're here. So why did you call it Nick's Ride for Friends? I know I've asked you this, but some of this is basic, but...
Well, number one, he was my son, and the ride between us always meant what you did from the day you were born to the day you died. Because when you were born, it only mattered to mom and dad.
Okay.
And the day you die, it mattered to the people that you made the mark on.
So your friends and all along that. So
your ride is the dash. That's what you did. That's how you made your mark. And no parent wants to lay their son or daughter down, just end their ride.
So, not-for-profit board. How did so you? I known you for a long time. Very active in the Herman Ave PTO. You were with Cuddy and Ward for many years. You're now with the county as the assistant treasurer there.
Yep.
So how did you get involved in this?
So it's
I know you're part of the Just Say No Club. That when somebody asks you to do something, you just say, "Oh, sure."
it's the standard joke in our office that I'm not very good at saying no. So I was probably on the job at the county 2 weeks. And
well, at least they gave you 2 weeks.
one of the county legislators said to me, I know that you're just trying to get acclimated to the job, but we're funding this organization and they really need somebody with financial expertise to join their board. And would you consider it? And I felt like here I am, this new person working for the county, and the legislator's asking me to do something. How do I say no? But I've said this before, and I'll say this again. You know, when you join these nonprofit organizations, and like you said, I did the PTO for many years, I always get more out of it than I give to it. And this organization has taught me so much.
And you give a lot. I will say this because I know you've advised a lot of not-for-profit boards when you were doing accounting services, so they clearly picked the right person for that.
Well, thank you.
It wasn't a pick. We're very fortunate that she chose to be a part of our organization.
So how large a board is it for the organization? I looked at the list, and there's a number of people we know in the community in there, but how large a board?
I think it's about 15.
15. And how often do you meet?
We meet once a month. We've just, it's a pretty new organization, and nonprofit organizations in their development take a little time to get there. We've kind of started to build our committee structure, so we're having committee meetings now, which is super important, and I think we've grown exponentially, and we're starting to get some funding in, so it's pretty exciting stuff.
So when you were here in November, there was a question about getting $25,000 from the county legislature. I know there were some contractual issues. Did that get all resolved?
Once again, we live in a great county.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They stood right behind us. Everything got resolved, and it was a non-issue. I mean, the people here in Cayuga County lead with their hearts.
So let's talk about where you are now and where you're going. So the clubhouse we talked about is next to the Shines Theater. What do you do there? What's a normal day, if there is a normal day, or a normal week? What type of services do you provide?
Well, again, we do mainly after hours. We do a lot of our detox presentations to the hospital, and that's where you'll pick them up, you'll take them to the hospital, and you'll present them for a medical detox, whether it's alcohol.
And you were in a process
opiate.
at one point of getting a van. Were you able to?
Oh, thank God. The French Metcalf helped us out.
Foundation.
Stanley French Metcalf.
And so you had the van. So that's for after hours. What
and
else
all day long.
And so do you have, similar to whether you would call it Alcoholics Anonymous or Al-Anon meetings there at the location?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how often do those occur?
Pretty much every day. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we have one at 5:30, and then after the 5:30 on Friday, we have open house game night. One night they got crocheting, one night they got arts and crafts, karaoke. I mean, there's something always going on during the day. They have 10:15, and then here's something I'll welcome the whole community. Come down, see what we're about, and every Wednesday at 10 o'clock, we have an open house to the community, a coffee hour.
10 in the morning?
At 10 o'clock, yes, every Wednesday till 11 o'clock. And you always see Brian down there getting a cup of coffee. And Sean comes in.
Sheriff and the police chief?
Yeah,
okay.
and every now and then you'll see Mr. Budelman stop in. And, years ago,
They wouldn't be
you
seen.
would see my friends that are clients. They would kind of get a little, but now you see them come in and everybody knows them by the name. And again, that's the community, getting rid of the stigma.
So do
It's a beautiful thing.
So what's the demographics of who walks in the door at this stage?
Well, without blowing anybody up, it could be a doctor to somebody that's crawling out from
It could be your neighbor next
You are
door.
correct.
Okay.
From crawling out from under a bridge.
But is it mainly men? Is it mainly women? Are they young? They old?
There is a bigger men ratio.
Okay.
Yes.
Any particular reason why? You think it's a comfort level, something of that nature?
You know,
Or is usage based, is it break that way nationally?
yeah, I think it comes down to the usage. But also what goes along with that, the ratio is like 12 to 4. Like one halfway house, for example, only has 16 beds. 12 of them are male beds,
Okay.
and 4 of them are female, and that's really a hard thing to do. And it is hard to get a female placed right now, and we are trying to get
Well, that's similar
more
to what they've
funding
had with
towards
the
that.
challenges of homelessness, where
Yeah.
you have them
Yeah.
side with a single resident occupancy. Have always been one way, not they're not 50-50.
Correct.
So where do you get the money? I know you do the fundraisers, but where do you get the money to operate that operation?
From basically Ray Bazzari.
Mental health.
Mental
Okay.
health, yes.
So you've got a contract with them. So what an annual budget? I know you're new in this spot. So what's roughly the annual budget right now?
So at this point, we're slightly over 300,000 in an
Okay.
annual budget. We just got additional funding through Cuyahoga County Mental Health this week. So
that's
we're
great.
ramping up our efforts.
And where
Joel-
will that new money go towards?
So we're going to expand our services. There's a couple of things. We're expanding the services to the opiate court so that we can provide services right, when people are in the court systems. We will be providing some kind of towards the end of your peer counseling services where we're trying to reacclimate you into the workforce. So we'll be able to provide transportation and peer counseling as you reacclimate into the workforce. So there's some additional funding there.
And how much is that new grant for?
It's around 35,000.
Okay. So you're for Auburn, you've seen this. This is normal size for many. I mean, it's not as big as a Cuyahoga Counseling,
Right.
but it's for a not-for-profit, especially a new not-for-profit. It's a pretty good size budget.
It is, and really, what I've said to him all along is that, we're getting foundation support, and we're getting the community's support in funding this organization. People are really behind this mission, and I think, Joel is producing the results.
And foundation support
thanks.
has been early on. I mean, normally you have to wait years, if not a decade or more.
Right.
But we are actually hearing from other states. Like I've gone to different places and presented about Nick's Ride and the clubhouse model, and I've been reached out to from different states actually about what we're doing, and that's wonderful because I said this in a board meeting the other last month. And one thing she didn't say about the board meetings, boy, we have them at these most ungodly hours, 7 o'clock in the morning.
I hear you.
Yeah, it's awful. But anyways, and long story short, I sat there and I was crying because I was out of space and we're still out of the footprint. And I sat down there and I seen the mark we were leaving with our people, and I seen our success rate. And I always say our because this isn't me. I got a wonderful board and wonderful caring people behind me and a great community. It's not all me. But I sat there crying, wondering now that I have to kick my president, or my friend who is the president now, out because I need his space. I was all for kicking him out because I couldn't stand the guy. But I also
Is this a
need-
neighbor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, Matt Chelnick.
Oh, okay.
And no, I love him
So-
to death.
So,
But I'm crying 2 years ago, and now here we are right now. I'm wondering how I'm going to pay the rent and tell what's working, tell these people what's working. Hey, I can't do it anymore.
so let's
Yeah,
talk
you know.
about where you're going. So
Yes.
you had some really great news. Again, new not-for-profit, state of New York, you got this DRI money, the Downtown Revitalization Initiative. You are one of the big, and I say this in the right term, you're one of the big winners, the recipients of this funds. You've got $940,000. You're doing a project at the convent. I call it a convent or nunnery. It's behind Holy Family, next to the Holiday Inn, and it had been vacant for many, many years.
Yes, it has.
So I've been inside it because I looked to move an office there once. This is a beautiful building, with great bones and structure.
Yeah.
What are you thinking of doing?
Oh, what we're thinking of doing, it's thought. It's going to be great. You're going to walk, it's going to be basically a state-of-the-art facility. And we will have other non-for-profits are going to come in and office there and just be basically like a one-stop. LifeWorks here would like to have a presence there. East Hill Medical would like to take quite a bit of space on the second floor and have 3 offices up there, you know.
So I know the property transferred a month ago, 2 months ago?
Yep.
So have you started work inside?
We have not done, but we have all the abatement tested and
Okay.
the surveys done, and now we're just waiting on the bidder, and we're hoping to kick things off towards the middle of this month.
So if you can award your bids, what's your timeline for renovation?
Here's what I would really like to do. I'd like to be going hard by June, and then by next June 12th, I'd like to cut the ribbon, and that would be next
So your
birthday.
goal is June of 2021,
Yeah.
you'll be open the doors and there.
How cool would that be?
That is cool. So
you know what I mean?
So you will still continue to operate the clubhouse. When you move into the convent, are you naming it? I'm just going to keep calling it the convent unless you tell me a different name.
Yeah, 13 Chapel. I want to call it 12 South at 13 Chapel, but I
Okay.
think it will be Nick's House of Help
Okay.
and Hope.
So at Nick's house, you'll still operate the clubhouse till then? Will you still?
Yeah, we actually had to right now pick up more space. I mean, just because of what we're doing. You know what I mean? Because we've had a lot more people, a lot more what we like to call unique people that were just meeting for the first time. You know what I mean? And we're, you know, we're doing a lot more. We're just so busy with the pier and getting people in. We had to rent private office space because it's hard to work a phone screen telling social security numbers with
Right.
people walking by.
Confidentiality
Yeah,
issues. So currently, so you have 940,000. How much did the property cost you?
Nothing.
Oh,
It was donated.
so it was a donated
Yeah, from the Booley.
Booley's,
Associates,
because I know
yeah.
Chuck Booley had purchased it at some point. Oh, that's really great.
It was
So does
Oh,
that
he's
count?
the whole Booley Family Association, they're just wonderful people. They always have been.
So does that go to some of? Obviously, the project is going to be more than $940,000. Do you have
Correct,
an overall
$1,300,000.
How much?
It's $1,300,000.
It went in at $1,300,000, but all of it, so it may not be because there was a little bit less towards abatement than we thought. Everybody in
And
the
you've got a donated building. So how much do
Yeah.
you have to raise? What is in your
We had
mind?
to raise 400,000.
And where are you in that process?
We've got it.
You do?
got
We
it.
do.
Okay, congratulations.
And it's
Yeah.
all through foundation support. You know, our local foundations have been so supportive. We actually have raised enough because there will be a bridge loan related to the 400,000, well, even the 900,000 that we are paying. So we've got enough to cover the interest costs when we're making interest-only payments.
So one of the things that you do 2 fundraising events, and that's what the real reason we had you on here, but we've talked about a lot of other stuff that's cool.
Well, I
It's
mean,
important.
it's always good, though. I love coming on.
So what's Nick's Night Out?
So Nick's Night Out is a gala event. It will be at the Chantal Marie.
So that's down, if you go past the Springside, it's down Westlake.
Sharkey.
Correct.
About halfway down there.
And they have donated the space as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is
okay.
wonderful.
And it's next Friday the 20th, so this will be shown
Correct.
several times before that.
Coming right up.
It's coming right up.
And what do you hope, is this an awareness event, is this a fundraising event, is this a
It's
fun
both.
event, or is it all of that?
It's all
It's
of that.
fun.
We've
It's
got
a good old-fashioned hoedown.
we've got
but formal.
entertainment.
So you're, so
Yes.
so the entertainment, I do know one of the groups that you're having perform, and that's
Yes, yep.
Perform for Purpose.
Correct.
Are you doing other entertainment, or are they your main?
Yeah, I believe we have a DJ. DJ Hump, I believe, is coming
Okay.
to entertain in addition to Perform for Purpose, and obviously dinner and
So it's a dinner. It starts at 5:30.
correct.
There is, so you can buy tickets in advance, and you can buy them either by sending a check over to 12 South,
Yes.
and what is
Eventbrite.
Eventbrite? I guess I've never.
So Eventbrite is like a web page that you can actually go
like
in
a
and
PayPal type system. where you can go.
Exactly.
So you can buy tickets, and you still as of right now, you still have tickets available.
we do have
Correct,
tickets
yeah.
available.
How much are tickets?
125.
And what does that go towards?
So, I mean, part of the 125 obviously is the cost of the event, but the rest of the fundraising dollars will help us keep that peer program going and
So it's really dedicated to the peer program.
correct.
On that.
Correct.
And so you'll take somebody's check, they can still do that and do that. So, as we came on, we know that the situation across the nation is fluid, from the
Correct.
stock market to schools to everything else. As of right now, you, as of just a couple of hours ago, and we're taping Thursday afternoon, you are still doing this event, correct?
Correct.
We are still doing the event. We are working, obviously I work for the county, so I'm in contact with Cuyahoga County Health Department regularly. I've spoken with them today. Right now, they're saying, mass events, there's no guideline for the
You're
volume.
under the 500.
We're
The
under the
governor's made
500.
an announcement just before we came on of 500. You're at about a 200 to 300 person event.
Mm-hmm.
How many attended last year?
Oh, can you help with that?
I don't even know.
Oh,
It
quite a
was
few.
it was
I
over
mean,
200.
Yeah,
Was
it
it?
was
Okay.
more than the first.
And what's the dress for the event?
It's
Formal,
formal.
but I like
Business
to say,
suit and-
hey, show up in tank tops, flip flops. It doesn't matter. It's all a good time.
Is there a program for the day or for the evening? Or is it just music and are there speeches
There
and
will be
presentations?
speeches
that,
and
Okay.
presentations.
and bring your waiters too, because I'm sure it'll get deep at times.
So you also do, so that's your main event, but you also do a very fun event
Oh, yeah.
in the summer. What's the summer event?
Oh man, that's the actual bike ride, and that is a good time. I mean, that's rolling thunder. When we start up, you can see the glass shaking, the church bells ringing. Downtown when we leave, it's a beautiful
So
thing.
do you have a scheduled date for that now?
August 15th.
So that'll be Founders Weekend? I think it's Founders Weekend. isn't
No, I think
Or the
we're
weekend
one.
after.
Yeah,
Weekend.
yeah.
And do you have to pay to participate in that?
Just to sign up if you're riding. We have a sign-up fee.
How many bikers do you usually get?
Well, last year, and man, I'm so honored to say this, and again, it goes down to the community. Man, Ray Charles could have woke up, sir, and knew that it was going to rain that day. But 177 bikers, and most of the bikers were tandem, which was meaning they were riding one up. And that is great. I mean, they knew they were
So
going to
you
get
ride.
wet, but they came to pay to get wet, to dirty their bike up, but to support a good cause. Those are my brothers and sisters.
Do you bike?
I do not bike.
So let me go to those of you us like us. So if I don't bike and I cannot for some reason go on the 20th, you do accept donations separately.
We do.
Absolutely.
We
But even if you don't bike, the block party and the street fest and the music.
You can come down to those types of
Absolutely.
things.
Right.
You got
Okay.
Bernie and Nick out there cooking all kinds of stuff. It's a good time.
But if you want to make a donation, we always want to do, and I know they're putting your website up
Yep.
that you can either.
Send something to 12 South. On our website, there's information about donations.
Can you do
certainly
online
it.
donations?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
we do accept
And
that.
do you get funded at all? I mean, if somebody sends their contribution to the United Way, can the United Way fund you? Have you gone through that?
We are
process-
working through
through
that process with
later
them
on?
currently.
So tell us again about the event before we go. This next Friday, the 20th. Go ahead.
Next Friday, the 20th, 5:30, Chantel Marie, dinner, drinks, music, some speeches. It'll be a good time.
And we're presenting a wonderful citizen with a wonderful award.
Do they know who it is yet?
No.
Okay. So you'll have to tell
You'll
us
have
that
to-
after the event.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So we do want to thank you for coming on here. I would, since you know your construction schedule, love to have you in the spring of next year. I'm assuming this is the third annual, this event. So
Yes.
we would love to have you back on for the fourth annual.
That's
Awesome.
And
wonderful.
then by that time, you'll also have an update of where you are in construction.
Yes.
Our guests have been the executive director of Nick's Ride for Friends, Joel Campanola, as well as Mary Beth Leeson, who is the treasurer for the organization. They do have an event next Friday, March 20th, depending on when you're watching this. You can go to their website, which we've popped up from time to time, to buy tickets. And so we would encourage you to go there, and it's a great event and it's a great cause. We'll be back in just a moment with another edition of Beyond the Front Page. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I should be talking to, this is the second show I should be talking about next Tuesday. On Tuesday, we'll have an extended Inside Government interview with 24th Congressional District candidate Roger Miso, who is a Democrat. We have had two of the three Democrats on so far. We were hoping to get the campaign of Congressman John Katko to have time with him in the studio as well. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, with the coronavirus, we are playing this by hit and miss at this stage of future shows. We will be on next Tuesday and show Tuesday and Thursday, and then we'll be on ARMA. But with the governor's determination regarding SUNY schools, we don't know as of yet what shows we will have, including the 3 forums that we have planned for the end of April and beginning of May. But in between, the Media Communications Department here at the college is still presenting their first ever telecom telethon as of right now. It is Wednesday, March 25th from noon to 6 p.m. The telethon will broadcast live on Spectrum Cable Channel 12, as well as live stream on the Media Telecom Department's website. You can get that at Media at Cayuga. Performers of all kinds, and you don't have to be a college student or be connected to the college, are encouraged and welcome to participate in the telethon as musical artists, poets, stand-up comedians, actors, actresses, readers, whatever your heart desires. All proceeds will go to the Cayuga Cupboard, which is the food pantry here at Cayuga. To sign up for a performance, you can do so here at the college at T128, or you can email, and I think we've put this up as well, the college to learn more about how to sign up for that. Before we go, though, we would like to, as usual, depending on our schedule in regards to the virus, let you know that you can send us your ideas for guests or questions to Inside Government or be on the front page at cozguytho@aol.com or Inside Government, 141 Dunning Avenue, Auburn, New York, 13021. I'm Guy Cosentino for Cayuga Community College. Thank you for watching. Have a good night. Have a great tomorrow. Think about this fundraiser, and we will see you back here in the studio on Thursday.